You know, I was speaking to some people on Twitter because I replied to this tweet about how viewership for the NBA is down. And, you know, I basically gave my complaints about the fouls being up and whatever else may be. And a lot of NBA fans seem to think that accessibility is the biggest problem with the NBA. I don't think it's the biggest, but I think it's a big problem because it makes no sense why, if you pay for NBA League Pass, you get access to every team outside of your local team. Your local team, you're blacked out. You can't watch it. You know, you have to go through other means to try to watch these games. And I really love what Matt Ishbia did with the Suns. What he did is that he gave antennas to Suns fans. If you're a Sun fan, he gave them free antennas, and their games are on locally for free. You don't have to pay for them at all. But for some reason, especially because of the area we live in, being New York City, you know, Yes Network, MSG, they want to tax you. I mean, I'm paying $30 a month to watch the Knicks, and that is what, 2 Netflix subscriptions pretty much just to watch the Knicks.
What? Netflix?
2 Netflix subscriptions.
You're such an asshole. You're an asshole. We would have called him out on it, so I get it.
I didn't even hear you mispronounce it.
You said Netflix.
Netflix.
I would have let it go, bro.
Yeah,
I was going to let it go too, but Riv, we pick on
I
him.
get called out for
No, it was
that.
Riv. No way.
Can't be,
Riv loses the plot too often. But yeah, no, it's a real problem.
$30 is...
It's crazy.
I respect you for paying it. No way.
Yeah, it's egregious. It's egregious. But
They charge you that for Hulu, ESPN, and something else together. Yeah, Disney. Pay $30, you get all 3.
That's what I said.
Valid,
to the guys that we watch on playback. First off, if you watch on playback, you get blessed because we get to watch every single game. That's a plus, just to tune in. But
no, remember Ricky couldn't watch one of the games because he lived.
No, Charlotte. He can't watch Charlotte games.
Can't watch Charlotte games.
I forgot where I was going with this. But regardless, yeah, the fact that there's so many different avenues that you have to go and hoops that you have to jump through. Yeah, shout out to League Pass, I guess, but even NFL, it's like, yeah, they give you a package. Sometimes you have to go and you have to spend an insane amount of money, but yeah, you get to watch every single team. League Pass, I don't know. There's
Sunday
something
tickets more
off about
expensive
it.
now.
Like almost $400.
Yeah,
that's
League
what I was
Pass,
saying
feel
in my
like,
tweet,
gives
yeah.
you some deals. I feel like League Pass. I know not everyone has access to FanDuel, but FanDuel, you bet like $5, you
2K,
get something.
now 2K,
2K if you
2K,
pre-order. So you have deals for League Pass. Sunday tickets a whole nother issue. That is so expensive.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's why, you know, I was arguing with NBA fans because they're talking about the accessibility issues, and I'm like, hey, the NFL, they charge their fans an obscene amount of money too, and NFL fans are more willing to pay it because the NFL is more popular than the NBA. I think the NBA has to do something to get to that point. I was looking at the NBA team offense stats today. Man, did you know like there are like 8 to 10 teams shooting 43s a game?
Yes.
Like that's absurd.
Bro,
the Hornets are number 2 in 3-point attempts this year.
The thing is, I'm not shocked about it. We spoke about it opening day when the Celtics went and smoked the Knicks because they were going out there and they shot, 63s?
Yeah.
And Jason Timpf, I gave him shit for it then. I'll still continue to give him shit for it now because I don't look at the game and think that it's lesser because they're shooting such an exuberant amount of threes. But that is the new style of basketball. You're going to take the more efficient shot. You have so many floor spacers. Of course, that's going to be up.
Yeah, I mean, we say all the time how you want guys that could 3-and-D guys. You want guys that can shoot. You want guys that guard on the perimeter. You want 5-out offenses. I'm not surprised that we have all these teams taking 40-plus threes. I mean, I'm surprised, like, some teams, like Chicago, for example, I was surprised that they're amongst the league leaders, right? I don't know where they stand now, but the first week of the season, they were, like, top 5 in threes.
They're still top 5.
Still top 5. So, I mean, there are some teams I'm surprised. Some other teams, like Boston, for example, that's like, yeah, that's their identity. That's who they are.
And the Celtics, I think, are shooting 53s a game.
Yeah, they're going crazy.
Yeah, 53s is nuts. I think they have to extend the 3-point line. I think that's probably the simplest solution. But then you might just have people taking farther shots.
Yeah,
that just might happen.
Just let defense play a little bit more aggressive.
What do you think about the idea of just removing corner threes as a whole?
No.
Why are we trying to change basketball?
Because
we've done it.
The argument for it,
2 decades or so.
But what really has changed in terms of like the rules outside of like the ticky-tack fouls now? Like the 3-point line got added.
I don't remember anything.
Defensive 3 seconds was a big rule back in the 2000s.
Hand checking was.
Yeah, that's that one for sure.
There was something that I don't remember what it exactly was.
I think the argument for the corner 3 being removed is that obviously it's it's less distance than a normal 3-point shot.
Yeah.
So like it's more of a long mid-range shot than it is like a true 3-point shot. I don't know what the solution is, but I think that every company needs to evolve. I mean, the NFL became more quarterback friendly because quarterbacks are the moneymaker. You can't touch them. So I don't know what the NBA solution to that is going to be to just increase viewership, but I think it's something they got to think about.
I don't know. I think there's natural ebbs and flows, right? We see with football too. Like for how many years in a row, passing was going up, it's going up, and now we see it's kind of starting to come back down as defenses has adjust. So over time, I'm sure the NBA and defensive schemes are going to adjust too. That we want to see teams take away threes. I mean, we see teams try to do it, right? There are teams that's difficult. Like it's hard to take away threes from Boston because if you're going to close out real hard to Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, they could just blow right by you, right? They could get a pump fake, get to the rim. So I think over time, I don't know if it's just going to infinitely go up and teams are going to start shooting 73s a game in 15 years. But I think over time, defense is just going to have to adjust and, figure out a sweet spot. How many threes we're willing to give up? What kind of threes are we willing to give up? Because I think no matter what rules we've seen in the NBA, right? Like if you would have asked when Shaq was coming around, it's like, shit, what if we just get someone who's 310 pounds strong as shit? Everyone's just going to go back to the basket. And obviously you can't do that. So I think over time, it'll even out.
I just think shooting is something that you can replicate much easier than
I'm being hyperbolic.
Shaq,
athletic.
Force. But yeah, I mean, we have the bad teams now shooting 40 plus threes. So the bad teams are kind of catching on and saying,
copycat league,
hey,
just
listen,
like
in order for us to even be competitive, and this is a big reason why the Bulls have been competitive in like every game. They don't have the talent, but as long as they can shoot threes with high volume, then they can be in them.
My thing, it is right there. My thing with that, though, is Steph Curry is one of the most marketable players in NBA history. He changed basketball with the 3-point shot. Are we going to not use him as an example that the game can grow still, even though this guy is he's obviously more athletic and he's more than just a 3-point shooter, but his claim to fame is being the best 3-point shooter of all time. We don't look at him and think that he hurt basketball. No,
I don't think he hurt it.
Hell no.
So
He
why
advanced it.
So why? That's exactly my point too. You had one of the most marketable faces in Steph Curry. He made the 3-point shot. He made the 3-point revolution. What it has become now. Are we now going to look at a certain point in time and think Steph Curry ruined basketball?
I think it's all about balance and how you do it. Like if you remember, like how perfect example, the Rockets and the Warriors in like 2016 to 2019ish, right? They probably generated the most 3-point shots in the league by far. But if you watched both of them play, they were stylistically different. Like the way they generated threes were completely different from each other. I think we can all agree Golden State was a lot more fun to watch just because of the way they moved the ball and stuff. Like, with Houston, it was more like Harden, Chris Paul, dribble, get to the rim, kick out. So it's really, now it's just all dependent on how you do it. Like, how does it look? Is aesthetically, how the fuck the word
aesthetically
is?
pleasing.
Yeah, pleasing. Like, however you do
and
that
I
shit,
think
you
more
get it done.
teams are doing that style, a heliocentric style. And I think there's so many teams like the Hornets now with LaMelo healthy. That's kind of what their style is. Just give LaMelo the ball and let him create. The Knicks, Jalen Brunson, that's a heliocentric offense. The Mavericks, Hawks. We have so many teams that are just like, you know what? We're just going to give the ball to our best player and have them generate looks. And it's not a bad basketball strategy. Like, it's good, but I think there's two different questions, whether it's good for the game itself and good for viewership. And I feel like that's what the NBA has to balance and see, just as we have more data, if it's working or not.